So this week is the first anniversary of Mrs May's premiership. But I don't suppose they've been cracking open the champers in Downing Street. Because since that disastrous election result, the career of the woman we thought would steer us triumphantly through Brexit is now in ruins. Mrs May managed to convert a 23-point lead over an unelectable Marxist into a situation where Corbyn is now a PM in waiting. And the payback for that, the bullying, the vilification, has been brutal. This week, she asked opposing parties to come together with some ideas, but was told to sod off by the great socialist Jeremy Corbyn, for whom power now seems more important than people. Brexit, depending on how it's handled, could make us or break us. So why are we trying to destroy one of the few people who can make it a success? And instead of putting Britain's interests first, why are sanctimonious politicians, many from May's own party, forever finding new ways to punish her? Don't they get it? Punish her and the EU vultures will punish us. These MPs are treating Brexit like it's a game, forgetting that what they do affects people's lives, their jobs and their children. Never has there been a more important time for politicians to pull together. But instead, they're scrapping like cats in a sack, not giving a toss what happens to us, the people who elected them. They need to accept that, for now, Theresa May is our Prime Minister. There's no one else in the Tory party who's vaguely ready or able to take her place, which is why, for Britain's sake, we need to get behind her.
I mean, you had some blinders there, didn't you, Carole? I mean...
Laugh before you slaughter me, that's all.
I agree with you, yes. There is nobody in the Cabinet that is vaguely able already to take her place. Yep. I also agree with you that it was a disastrous election result. But I don't agree with you that she's the person to lead us through Brexit. I think the election result shows us exactly that she's not.
But she's the only person that we've got currently, and she is Prime Minister, and until she's not, she is going to be the person spearheading what happens in Brussels. And what I fear, June, what I completely fear is that we have bullied, humiliated, vilified her so much, she holds no sway anywhere. So...
Carole.
Yeah?
Can I...
Oh, hello. Just stop there. You were like a teacher.
Yeah. Carole, it's not the country that is destroying Theresa May. What we're seeing is that
her
Brexit...
own politicians.
I don't want you to interrupt me for a second.
Right,
Brexit,
okay.
I'm afraid, is destroying everything in its path, and this includes Theresa May.
That's a great
Brexit, or the European referendum, destroyed Cameron and Osborne. We saw the roulette wheel there on screen.
Yeah.
They put the country on black. It came up red. Yeah. They went. Brexit is destroying... Brexit is destroying the Tory party. It could still destroy the Labour Party. It's not us who are destroying Theresa May. It's the fact that she is pursuing her Brexit agenda, the hard Brexit agenda, which she says was the will of the people and has to be executed. In fact, can we just drill down on what will of the people means? 48% of an electorate comprising 37% of the population voted for Brexit, which means around 26% actually of the population voted for a course of action.
How you like,
and wait,
52,
no, just let me finish. I'm on my peroration. And the problem she has is not that she's a poor Prime Minister who took a terrible gamble that went disastrously, calamitously wrong for her. It's that the will of the people conflicts with a national interest. And she isn't brave enough, and nobody in Cabinet is yet brave enough to stand up and say that is the case.
This is what Remainers do. They interpret every situation to suit their agenda.
No,
this is not the case.
The situation does not suit my agenda.
She lost her majority because she ran the most god-awful campaign. She turned out to be not the person... Let me talk now. She ran the most god-awful campaign. She actually said today...
Yes, and Brexit destroyed her election campaign because she said this is a Brexit election, and look
you
what
guys
happened.
are always telling me that I've got to let you finish. Let me. She had a terrible campaign. She has said today in an interview today that she didn't address the issues that she would inflame the people. She didn't address the jams that are just about managing. She didn't go for young people. She said what she didn't do. She didn't slate Corbyn's manifesto, which she should have done because it could have been pulled apart in 5 minutes. And no, I didn't hear a single Tory during that campaign say this manifesto will bankrupt this country in 2 weeks, which is what most financial analysts said. So it's not because of Brexit that she's in trouble. It's because her campaign
Yes, it is,
was
because
terrible.
a lot of people voted Labour because they thought they were getting a softer vote.
A lot of people voted Labour because she was
Labour.
not the person we thought she was.
So therefore, you know, actually what you said about the will of the people, I think the will of the people has changed, Rachel.
Well,
and the election showed us
Depends
that.
what polls you read. Some polls say now 60-odd% would vote for Brexit. So it depends. You know, if you're a Remainer, you're going to read the polls that are done among the most Remainers. If you're a leader,
Can
you
I
read
say,
those.
Carol, I loved what you said. What did you say? Unelectable Marxist.
Well,
that was a great line, wasn't it?
I mean, what she
unelectable.
Electable Marxist.
It was kind of magical what she did there, Nick.
Well, at last, I found out why, for all these weeks and months, Rachel Johnson's been coming in, because that was the most devastating summing up of what Brexit has done. I think you're absolutely right, and I do think that Mrs May is now caught up in the mangle, as you so rightly said. It was a very, very accurate portrayal, very impressive.
Okay,
but where you're wrong, just one line, just where you're
sorry.
wrong. I don't think she's... I think she probably should stay, and I think she probably should take the first... A bit like a boxing match. Put her out for the first 6 rounds and let her get smashed about a bit and then put someone else... I don't think she's the only person who could do it. You could argue that David Davis, who actually was a committed... God. No, hold on, but was a committed Brexiter, as opposed to Mrs May, who we understand, well, we know campaigned... Well, not necessarily that vigorously. So I think someone else can do it. But essentially, I would have thought what she's hoping for is to stagger to the summer recess, get through a summer where the briefing and the sniping stops. If she can get to conference in early October, she will probably stagger on.
You know, this week when she made the speech this week, where she called on other parties to help in, you know, let's face it, we are going towards the biggest challenge for this country since the Second World War. So she asked other parties to help there. Let's have a look. This was her being a grown-up, I think.
When I commissioned this report, I led a majority government in the House of Commons. And the reality I now face as Prime Minister is rather different. So I say to the other parties in the House of Commons, read this report, engage with the difficult issues it raises, come forward with your own views and ideas about how we can tackle these challenges as a country.
Now let's look at Corbyn's reaction to that. This, you know, the smart-ass Corbyn, who's supposed to be man of the people and care about the people. Let's look at what he says.
The government is apparently now asking other parties for their policy ideas. And so, if the Prime Minister would like it, I'm very happy to furnish her with a copy of our election manifesto. Or better still, an early election in order that the people of this country can decide.
So, the future of this country is at stake, and that's his response to it.
Good,
But you know, there was a
that's
time
good.
when politicians used to be patriots, where the love of their country was more important than their lust for power. That's not what's happening now. Politicians of both views, Labour and Tory...
about Theresa May?
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
she's putting herself in front of her
the
country.
Labour Party trying to destroy
That's exactly
her.
what Theresa May is
Members
doing.
of her own party trying to destroy her. For whatever... There was this story. There's a group of kamikaze Tory MPs who actually want... They've said they're going to vote against all her Brexit suggestions so that she will fail, Brexit will fail, Labour will get in, Labour will get in, and then it'll be a disaster. And then for the next 30 years, Tories will be back in power. Can I just finish this point? For the next 30 years, Tories will be back in power. Now, that's throwing the people of this country to the wolves. They don't care about what happens to us. That's just about party politics. Now go.
Thank you.
Now go.
I was just going to say she's going to fail because of this costly, fragile DUP deal. I mean, how long's that going to last?
Can I just say that I think, Carole, you're massively reinforcing Rachel's incredibly eloquent point that Brexit is this kind of weapon of mass destruction that destroys all in its way. I mean, I find your points kind of all over the place. You know, you're acknowledging that Theresa May has kind of not really got a leg to stand on, but you're accusing other parties of
plotting against
her. What I'm saying is
her.
Do what's best for Britain and for the people of this country, and destroying it by arguing against... You know what's going to happen? If we keep on having a go at her, we are going to get the worst possible Brexit deal you can imagine, because we are leaving whatever happens, but we're going to get a worse deal than we had when we were in there, because she has no power, and she has no power because everyone's attacking her, everyone's pulling her apart. So either get behind her or we're going to get a bad deal.
I would say she has no power because she ran an incredibly misguided and arrogant election campaign, which we all said was going to result in this, that has ended up with her having no legitimacy. It's not fair to say that Labour aren't trying to contribute ideas. They suggested lifting the 1% cap on public sector pay.
She was bound to do that. She was bound to take...
Well, you say that she's not open.
From Labour.
Do you say that other parties aren't open to contributing ideas? I'm showing you that she's not necessarily open to other parties' ideas
and
either.
You think Corbyn
Carole, Michelle... Nicola Sturgeon, Jeremy Corbyn, they're all going to meet Michel Barnier soon, so they are contributing ideas, aren't they?
Because,
that's your point.
The thing is, Carole, I just think, you know, Theresa, do you really think that she's going to survive Do you think she's capable of... And if she's going to go, isn't it better for her to go now, before we're deep in the mire of this?
If I was her, I would have walked away, because no one should take the vilification she's had to take. However, I think she stayed. I think it took a bit of guts to stay every day. Can you imagine trying to do what she has to do every day with this kind of vilification? None of us could stand that kind of hatred.
She created it herself. She made her own bed. She shouldn't have called that election.
She didn't do it on her own, June. She was being egged on by other politicians.
No, by her two advisors.
Solidify your position
by
for
Nick
Brexit.
And Fiona.
Not just by
Theresa. That is such... I told her no.
On that note, guys.